Hello and welcome to this vlog. So this is a real mini vlog. We're going to just get straight into it. I read some books already. I'm just going to talk about them. So I read Forget Me Not. So this is a romance about a wedding planner and a florist whom she has a past with and is no longer really speaking to, but is then thrust together with for a new, very lucrative wedding. Oh, okay, so I think I read about 50% of this. This is just really unlikable. The main woman doesn't care about people's boundaries, doesn't respect other people. The first meeting she has with this guy, she just barges in there. She starts eating donuts, dropping crumbs. He asks her very politely, could you not do that? The crumbs attract ants. She doesn't give a shit. She's still just dropping crumbs everywhere. She goes and sits on his counter. She gets a filming crew to come in. She's like, we're filming some Instagram stuff for your Instagram page. She's like, I don't really want to do that. She's like, you need to do that. Unlikable. This woman is unlikable. The sexual exchanges between them were just very uncomfy. I didn't like it. There was a very weird power dynamic going on. I felt like the guy was being very disrespected by her and I couldn't do it anymore, so I was out. And then I read Prosper's the Demons. This is a little mini novella. I've rated it 2 stars. It's nothing really interesting. At first I thought the concept was great. You've got a sociopathic exorcist who exorcises demons from people. Sometimes in that process those people are injured or killed. He doesn't really care too much about it, you know. So he goes about constantly exorcising these demons until he meets a demon who is in someone that he respects. And that demon has guided and inspired that human being to make great progresses for humanity and for art and philosophy and all these sorts of things. So he starts having second thoughts about excising this demon from this man because it's like, well, who are they hurting at the end of the day? They're inspiring this person, they're doing these cool things, so I'm going to get on board with it. That's basically the premise of it. It just didn't do anything for me. I know it's talking about, you know, good and evil and morals and ethics, but it was a bit meh. And then I read Bewitched. So this is a fantasy book. I've given it 3 stars. This is just a fun romp. You know, it's a bit of sexy times. It's a witch who awakens this very ancient sorcerer who claims that she is his lost long wife who betrayed him and entombed him. And yeah, it was interesting. She has a panther familiar. She's at this witch school. Someone starts killing all these witches, but she's also juggling this extremely hot but a bit unhinged sorcerer who's calling her his wife. And she's got issues with her magic. They cause her to lose her memories every time she uses them. But what's really going on? It's fine. You know, is the writing great? No. Is the world building and the plot fantastic? No, but it's fun. You know, it's a bit of fun, sexy time. So I gave it 3 stars. I will not be continuing in the series though. It's not enough for me to keep reading more in that world. Then I read How Not to Marry a Duke. I've been celibate for like 7 months. I just needed to indulge in some hanky-panky times and I wanted a historical romance. Unfortunately, this didn't do it for me. The writing is really poor. It's basically just dialogue, text. The pacing is really off and weird. I guess it's meant to be slow burn, but it's not really. The plot is you've got a duke who's very absorbed in his work, an engineer of some sort. He ends up meeting his new neighbor who is a lady whose father has died. She's half Lebanese, her mother was Lebanese. Her half brother, who's full-blooded English, despises her. So as soon as her father died, the father did leave her a dilapidated cottage, but the brother was just like, get out, I'm not giving you anything. So she goes to the cottage, which, like I said, abuts the duke's, and they meet because one of her pigs ends up barreling him over. They're both supposed to be, you know, feisty and odd. And then the brother comes along, the half brother comes along and is like, I need you to marry this man because I'm in debt. The duke overhears and he also has been pressured to take a wife, so they're like, let's just pretend that we're dating, and obviously they fall in love. It's a 2 star. I actually just really didn't enjoy it, and not even the sexy times. So I didn't get what I wanted out of it whatsoever. I thought it was going to be, you know, a slow burn romance between 2 bookish people, historical setting. It wasn't it for me. It was no Stacey Reid, that's all I'm saying. So that wasn't a good romp. And then I read The Hanging City. So this was interesting. This is about trolls. And they live in this multi-level city where because the humans have sort of run them, you know, out of the mass of the land, and they've carved this niche out for themselves. They are stronger than humans, a lot larger, And you have the main girl, I've forgotten her name, who needs somewhere to live. She's trying to escape from her father because she has the ability to create fear in people, and her father was using her as a weapon, and she's run away. So she's run to the city of trolls, barters her way in, and she's trying to find a family, really. So this is a whole found family kind of book. Okay, the issue with me is these trolls, Trollis, they like to be called Trollis, look like Shrek. They might have abs, but they Shrek. And that doesn't do it for me. So my brain had to do what it had to do to be able to enjoy this book. And I just reimagined the main character as Damiano David, because I just couldn't get with the green skin and the tusks and the horns. And it's too much for me. Look, like with monster kind of smut, they have to be quite human-like. They can't be too much different. And this was a bit too much different for me to get on board visualizing it. So like I said, I just sort of blotted that out. But like they are human-like, just tusks and green and muscular and bones and things like that. So anyway, this is a very slow romance. I really enjoyed the book overall. It has phenomenal world building. Like, I could visualize everything. The magic system was really interesting, really cool. The romance was incredibly sweet. I did enjoy it. Could have been better, yes, but overall, I did enjoy my time with it. It was a bit brutal, a bit violent, so it wasn't just an easy breezy kind of book. There was a lot going on. Obviously a lot of prejudice, a lot of things to do with race, abuse, power, fear, that kind of thing. It was really interesting. So I'm feeling like trolls are the new fae. I don't know what it is. I've just been seeing it a lot. So move over fae, trolls are now bae. But I enjoyed it. So that was The Hanging City. The last book that I read in this little mini vlog was Thornhedge. So Thornhedge is by Kingfisher, and it's a little novella, and it's sort of about Sleeping Beauty, but a retelling of. And the main character was a human princess, and she was swapped out for a changeling, and she's become a little less human and ends up cursing the changeling to sleep forever. And that curse holds for hundreds of years until a knight comes along hoping to save the maiden in the tower. But not all is as it seems. Like I said, this was just a very cute but bittersweet tale. It's not exactly happily ever after. There were some twists that I think a lot of people could see coming, but were still interesting nonetheless. And I just enjoyed it. It's a 4-star read. It was just very sweet. And like I said, I enjoyed my time with it. So this week overall, it's been a mixed bag. There's been a few 4s, which fantastic, and a few 2s and a DNF. But overall, I actually did enjoy my reading this week. But yeah, I just went on a bit of a binge. I had nothing much to do, and so I read, and here we are. But that is everything for this mini vlog. I hope that wherever you are having a gratifying morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, star child.